sometimes the hardest thing in business is really getting that meeting set. And not just because of the fact that you are having a hard time getting in contact with the person, but just really fine tuning exactly when are they ready. Sometimes you have this unnecessary back and forth between what time is good for you or what time is good for your team. So what I'm going to show you here is HubSpot's meeting scheduler allows you to use your meeting link in a number of different ways, whether it's inside of an email or directly sending an email link across to a customer and allowing them to choose for themselves. Let's check it out. All right, so to access the meeting scheduler, what we'll need to do is from any particular area of HubSpot, once you have your menu open to the side, we're going to be looking for it under, it's really going to sit under where it says sales, and then from sales is going to be here. When we click on the meeting scheduler, we're then going to have the option. You will see by default as a user, you're going to get this as your standard meeting link. Now, for the sake of the example, I actually want to start from scratch to show you the options that you have based upon the type of team that you have. So to be able to do that, we have it up here where it says create schedule page. But most importantly, to have a meeting link, you must have your calendar connected. And in connecting a calendar, there's some steps to do that. We have that set up in a separate video that you could find. And once you have your calendar connected, it means that whatever times that you set is now going to be synced to your Outlook calendar or to your Gmail or Google Workspace calendar. So step number one is that you must have your calendar connected. In this instance, what we're going to see is as to what are the options. So you can have a one-to-one meeting, which is what we're going to do today. Then from there, you can actually have the option of a group meeting, and it gives you examples as to what does a group meeting really indicate, where it says, I want my manager to be invited to all of my important meetings. I want to invite a subject matter expert, etc. So it's group meetings. Or you can have a round robin. So if you have a team, whether it's a sales team or it's a service team, where based upon the meetings that's set, the ownership of that meeting is now going to be scheduled automatically to different members of the team. So that could be for like customer support or new sales inquiries or just general sales meetings, etc. That's how that can work from there. So we're just going to go with a one-to-one meeting today. So with that, you're going to have something called an internal name. We're not going to be selecting it to any campaigns because campaigns could be representative to marketing. And of course, who is going to be the organizer of the meeting? In this instance, it's going to be me. We can actually give it a title. So we'll go down that step right now. And of course, which one of your video conferencing links you're going to be using. So let's start off with the name. So the internal name is going to be Meet with to discuss CRM strategy. So we're not going to have any campaigns. And so we're not connecting this to any marketing. But if there was a marketing campaign that you wanted to connect your leads into meetings too, then this is where you have the ability of doing that. And you can give your event a title. I can say, is HubSpot for me? And from here, I could actually customize it, right? So this could be the title of the meeting, and I can put the person's first name because HubSpot gives you the ability of either using the contact's first and last name. So who are the people that you're actually meeting with? So that's going to show up here. We're just going to change this right. So you have, at least you know the persons that you're meeting, first name, last name, and the company. So if I wanted to say, so we go last name. And if I wanted to put the company there as well, I can just do the same. Good. Location. So these could be in-person sessions, but in this instance, we want to use video links. I don't have any app connected, but this could be a Zoom, this could be a Microsoft Teams, or this could also be Google Meet. And here you could also put a similar description, and that description could be discussion on HubSpot for my company. And we'll call that George. So once we have this done, so then the next thing that we're going to be doing, you actually also have the option of putting what we will call a cancel and reschedule. Now, the reason why I like this is because later on, as we go through the process of setting this up, you will see that the person can have the ability, when they get the reminder, they can have the ability of setting up or rescheduling or canceling the meeting altogether. So we're definitely going to switch this on. So they are going to get a reschedule and a cancel link. So then we go to next. So we already have this set here. We meet with Lyndon to discuss, right? So this is what it's going to look like. This is a little bit of a preview window across to the side. And we have three things that we're going to be focusing on. We're going to go schedule, form, and confirmations. Now what we want to do is I would want to maybe set what times that I would like to allot for each person to meet with me. So I can go from here. I can say, I don't really need to have a 30-minute meeting. 30 minutes is short. So I just need to go with a 1 hour meeting at least. So notice the calendar would have changed. That now shows 1 hour here to decide. Beyond that too, what we then have is that you have your days. So you can have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. Or let's say you didn't want any of these. You could actually be very selective, right? In terms of your days. Let's say you only want to meet Wednesdays and Fridays. You can choose that as well. And let's say you wanted to add Saturday in here. So you can come down and you can look for Saturdays. But Saturdays, let's say for instance, your Saturdays, it starts at, let's say your Saturdays start at 10 and it ends at, let's say 4:15. And Monday to Friday, you can actually set the time. So let's say you start here again at 9, but you finish on one day, you might be finishing, I don't know, 2:45. And then on another day, you might be you start at 8. So again, the purpose of the example is just to show you how flexible you can be in terms of your times, in terms of how you want to use this. Consider working hours. Working hours is something that you can switch on, which means that based upon what your business working hours are, once you set that up in the beginning of using the application, of using HubSpot, HubSpot would also consider whether you're 8 to 4, 9 to 5 type person. So you can consider working hours here, but you can still control everything that you need to have from here. Beyond that too, when we have additional settings, you have your period. So if we look at, notice how it only gives this week and next week, because we only set it for a 2-week window. And we have the Wednesdays and we don't have Thursdays as an option. That's what we just set. And we also have Fridays and Saturdays. So if we wanted to expand it to maybe a 3-week window, it means that now the person they can book all the way down to the 3rd week of the month. So which is also good. And then here now they can actually choose whatever time it is that they need to choose. So in essence, this particular part of it is now complete. Here, you just give the person specific windows in terms of time. So how much notice do you need to get in terms of booking a meeting? I like this because it could mean that you don't want somebody to just come today and immediately book you in the next 15 minutes. So sometimes you may want to give yourself a day's time, all right? So you might want to give yourself at least a few hours, or any new meetings are going to be set from tomorrow onwards. And then, of course, in terms of your buffer and your intervals, you can choose exactly as to what these 2 intervals are for you. And of course, the rest, these 2 options on here are self-explanatory. The next place that we're going to go to now is that we're going to go to the form. The form basically means what bits of information that you want to collect. Based upon how you have your HubSpot portal set up, you can actually add additional properties here. So in some instances, I may have, let's say you're an automotive dealership, I might have vehicle of interest or brand of vehicle that you might be interested in. So I'll click save for that. So that would mean if I'm in automotive, what brand would you like us to talk about? And I can put a custom question, right? The custom question could state, what is something you will like to from this meeting, right? So you have that option there as well. In terms of, you can put a custom question. So that custom question now sits at the bottom of your form. From a spam protections perspective, you can put in your captcha, and then of course allowing guests is also important, right? So it means that you are now going to allow the person to add additional people if that's the case. So when they're filling out the form, they will see that you can add a couple more folks inside of there as well. And well, of course, data privacy. Once you have your data privacy stuff set up, it's going to look like this down to the bottom here based upon the data privacy options that you have. Now, again, all of these are optional. So you can take this off and you recognize that your data privacy option is there, but your spam protection is there. And if they had to add anybody else as an option to add to the meeting, apart from themselves, they have the ability of doing that from there as well. So that is now your form. You can put some additional settings in here in terms of pre-population. I don't necessarily use this a lot. I think pre-populating fields can be dangerous. So I might normally just maybe switch this off if they are known values. And then from there, we'll come across the confirmation. Confirmation, you have 2 options. They will either get this to say that you've been booked or you've booked the meeting. Or if you want to send them to a specific page, let's say there's a landing page or something like that that you want to use, you could actually use this landing page. You can use it like your pages from here. Or let's say, for instance, you wanted to use your own website page. So let's say I put in HTTPS, right? And I click add. So which means that they are going to be redirected to this page after. And again, that could be all promotional. So somebody fills out stuff to do a test drive. They choose the link and then it goes to a particular page once they've confirmed. After we've done these 2, the next thing will just be to go to next. In this last particular area here, this is actually going to give the person a preview. So you've booked a meeting with and the host is going to be me. Or you can say confirmation title is new meeting book with, and then the email address, etc., etc. So that's the information that's going to come in. And you can now set your reminders. So you can have pre-meeting reminders where you can have reminders 1 hour before, or the reminder could be 1 day before. I normally like to use these two because these two allows the person to get at least they get a reminder the day and an hour before. Now these reminders are email specific, they're not text specific. This is what the reminder is going to say, that you've this is just a friendly reminder that you have a meeting booked on X day with such and such. And if you want to look at the subject, this is what the subject line looks like. And this is another idea as to what this looks like here as well. Now, once you have all of this done, basically you've finished the steps in terms of overview, scheduling, and automation. You can then go ahead and create your link. And now that you have this link, you can copy this particular link here, and we're going to put this in your URL. And this would normally sit. So if I click this, so if the person clicks Friday, they can then choose what time. And then here's where they can fill out all of the respective information, put that additional guest, state what are 2 things that they want to achieve coming out of this particular meeting. And once all of this is filled out, then they can submit the request, and that information goes into the system. The sales rep is going to be notified, and the client is going to be registered inside of their calendar. The reason why I like this particular structure, setting it up may normally take a little bit longer. Sometimes it may take a little bit more thought. But once you have that set, you then have the ability of you even using that on your HubSpot keyboard via the mobile device. And I'll maybe do an example of that in a separate video. But you can actually bring up the HubSpot keyboard, and actually, if you're having a WhatsApp conversation with someone, you can send that via that link. And once they fill it out, the information is all there. Everything else is booked in, and you're good to go. So there's no more back and forth of when are you ready and when are you ready. At the end of the day, you just send the link, you create the scheduling page, and that's it from there. All right. Hope that was helpful. Catch you all in another video as we look at breaking down HubSpot for the average user. Peace.